What's going on, everyone? Sports back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the New York Giants' upcoming schedule for the 2022 season, as the offseason has begun. Of course, the Super Bowl was a week from today, a week ago from today, and now we obviously look ahead to free agency, the draft, all that kind of stuff. So, in terms of football content you're getting from me, it's all going to be offseason based and looking ahead to next year. Of course, like many other content creators. But in today's video, I wanted to just go over all of our opponents for next season. The Giants have 8 road games next year, 9 home games, of course, with the extra game they added last year. There's now 17 games on the schedule. And let's get right into the opponents. We're going to start off. There's, of course, no order because the schedule has not yet come out. That usually comes out in about May. But we're just going, I'll have another video on our schedule breakdown, like of when each week happens and all that good stuff. So, obviously the division opponents, we're not going to really talk about those. We play them twice, once at home, once on the road. Of course, that's the Cowboys, the Eagles, Washington. The Giants can, win 3 or 4 of those. I think that's pretty good within the division. If you can go 500 or above within your division, I think you're that's pretty good for the Giants. But let's go to the road. We're going to start there. You got Green Bay, which is a game that is going to be tough. No matter what, you're going into Lambeau, it's going to be tough. But you don't know who the quarterback is going to be over there in Green Bay. It could be Rodgers. It could be Jordan Love. It could be, a whole bunch of names. So that's obviously an interesting game right there. But from the sounds of it, it sounds like it's going to be Rodgers again. Maybe no Devontae Adams, though. So regardless, Green Bay's not going to be an easy game. So we have that one on the road there. We also have the Seahawks on the road, which is an interesting game because we went in there with a backup quarterback two seasons ago, and Colt McCoy, he won the Giants the game. No Saquon, no Daniel Jones, and we went in there and we beat the Seahawks, who were good that season, right? They took a step back this year. We don't know exactly what they are. They're an interesting team. A lot of talk about Russell Wilson maybe being traded. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be the quarterback in Seattle next year. So that's obviously going to be another tough game on the road. Then we have the Minnesota Vikings on the road. Again, another team that their quarterback is a question mark. It's up in the air. Is Kirk Cousins going to get re-signed there? Who knows? Maybe they draft a quarterback. It's going to be interesting. Of course, new head coach, new GM. They don't have ties to Kirk Cousins. So it's definitely interesting there over in Minnesota, as that's going to be another tough game, as that's a tough place to go out and play. The next one on the road is another tough team. It's the Tennessee Titans. So we have a very difficult road schedule, without question. Titans are a good team when they're healthy. They got Tannehill, they got Derrick Henry, they have Julio Jones, A.J. Brown. They have a lot of weapons. They have a good defense, so it's gonna be a tough one there in Tennessee. They've been a team that's always good in the regular season, and they can't really win in the playoffs. So of course, this being a regular season game, it's not going to be easy. So we got 4 very tough road opponents there, and then we have an easy. Well, I wouldn't say easy. They got a good new head coach now, Doug Peterson. That's the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they're definitely a team that's beatable. Of course, Trevor Lawrence still young. They don't have everything together there. They have a lot of question marks and holes within that roster. So that's obviously another winnable game. So that recaps the road schedule, or the road opponents, and then you go on the home side. And it's easier without a question. You have the Bears, who, Justin Fields, second year guy coming in. For that game, you would want that game to be at the beginning of the year because they have a new head coach coming in, still trying to get on the same page with Justin Fields. So if you can get that game early in the year at home, I like the Giants' chances there. And then we got the Detroit Lions. It's another team. Jared Goff may or may not be the quarterback there. Who knows? But that being a home game, that's a team that always fights. That there's no question. You can't deny the fact that they give it everything they have under Dan Campbell, who's a great head coach in my opinion. He gets everything out of his players. He gets them to fight to the last second, work their ass off, and that's a good team. It's not going to be easy, but it's one that at home the Giants should win, and fans should expect them to win. Next one, the Indianapolis Colts. This one is interesting because this is one of those games that, the Giants this can be their win of the year that no one really thinks they're going to be able to win. Indianapolis is a good team. They were a team that was good and bad over the course of a year. And when you get them when they're hot, you're not going to beat them. But if you get them when they're cold, it could be a game that, I don't want to say easy, but it's almost a very, very much a winnable game. So the Colts is an interesting one. A lot of talk about Carson Wentz maybe being traded, which is interesting. But that's definitely a game on the schedule that I think the Giants can win at home against the Indianapolis Colts. And then the final three are the Baltimore Ravens. That's one of them. Lamar Jackson, obviously, unbelievable. Harbaugh, great coach. They have a good defense. That's going to be an interesting game, though. Don Martindale going up against his former team at home. I actually think the Giants win that game because Don Martindale is going to have so much in that game. He's going to want to win it so bad. The Giants are going to figure something out, I have a feeling. I don't know why I have a feeling. And we still have tons of time. It's really early to be making predictions. But I will at the end of the video anyways because, people always like predictions and hypotheticals. So, but this is an interesting game at home. It being at home makes it a lot more of a winnable game. But the Ravens are still the Ravens at the end of the day. They have a top 10 quarterback in Lamar Jackson, good running game. So that one's going to be tough, obviously, still with a good defense. But the defense is going to take a step back without a doubt over in Baltimore without Don Martindale. So it's going to be interesting. We don't really know what that defense is anymore without him. So interesting game. Then we have the Carolina Panthers. Again, this is another winnable game. We beat them at home last year. No reason to think we can't do it again. They're a team that they have a lot of question marks as well. Is it going to be Sam Darnold next year? Is it going to be a rookie in Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral or Malik Willis? Who knows? That's another team, though, you want early on in the year. Ben Mcadoo is the offensive coordinator. He's obviously, coming into New York. He's going to want to win that game. That's going to be another cool game. There's a lot of games this year for the Giants that have a lot of cool storylines behind them. So that's another interesting one. And then finally, the Houston Texans, which is another game that we don't know what's going on over there with their quarterback situation. There's a lot of teams in the league. I would say half the teams, we have no clue where their quarterback is going to be next year, maybe even more. But it probably won't be Deshaun Watson. It'll more than likely be Davis Mills, I would guess. And that's a game at home that the Giants should absolutely win. The Texans have a new head coach. That's another team you want early in the schedule at home. So there's some games that as fans we would have preferences to be early in the year. That being Chicago, that being the Texans, that being the Panthers and the Ravens, because their defense still won't be really what we really know it is. And of course, Jaguars, another team there, and the Vikings. So definitely some interesting games on the schedule. But the Giants definitely have a schedule that they can definitely muster together some wins. So it'll be interesting this season. Just for fun, I'm going to do, a prediction on what I think that, how many wins we could have. I know a lot of people watching the video are going to want to know, how many do you think they're going to win? They're going to ask in the comments. And it's always cool and interesting to know what, content creators and fans think. There's still tons of time. We haven't even started the free agency or the draft, so we have no clue what these teams are going to look like. So don't quote me on this, just for fun. Going off what I think how the teams are based right now, assuming we go 3-3 within the division. I think we win the game on the road against the Jaguars. That brings you to 4-3, and then out of the Green Bay, Minnesota, Seattle, and Tennessee game, those 4 on the road, I think the Giants only win one of those. So that brings you to 5-6, and then going home to take a look at the non-division opponents. I think you beat the Bears at 6-6. I think you beat the Panthers at 7-6. I think you beat the Lions. That's 8-6, and I think you beat the Texans, and that's 9-6. And then you drop the games to the Ravens and the Colts. That'll bring you to 9-8. But this is just, as a Giants fan, thinking optimistically. 9-8, 9 wins would be a dream next year. That's if a lot of things go well. But if the Giants win 9 games, it's definitely successful. definitely a successful season, and that could obviously get you into the playoffs. But who knows? I'm not saying, and I'm not predicting or expecting the Giants to make the playoffs or anything like that. I just think we have a somewhat of an easy schedule, so we'll see how it goes, though, guys. But that's all I got in this video. You guys let me know down below in the comment section your thoughts on this 9-8 crazy, way too early prediction for how many wins we could have, and your thoughts on our opponents for next year. Some winnable ones and some tough ones definitely in the schedule. But like I said, leave a comment down below as always, and please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys new. We'll see you guys all in the next video. Let's go Giants.